do this.
Hello, Ritchie.
Hello. Hey,
Hey,
Natalie. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in for the pre-show. Me and Natalie are going to have a little chit-chat, and so feel free to ask us questions, talk about whatever you want to in the comments, and we'll discuss it if you have anything you want to know about or learn about or ask or whatever. This is a great time to type it in there and let us know, and we'll get to it.
Exactly. I can tell you're on fire today, Ritchie. It's really awesome. It's great. And Björn's here. Hello, Björn
Yeah.
from Dubai. That's quite interesting. It's good to have you here,
Yeah.
Björn.
Hi, Bjorn.
Oh, and William's also here. Okay, he thought that vintage aquacolor was really challenging. That's really cool feedback. I think thanks to everyone, first of all, is in order for everyone who did submit images. I didn't notice there were quite a few that came in late, so I was already wondering if maybe this recipe wasn't everybody's favorite. What do you think, Ritchie?
I think it is challenging. You gotta really embrace the blacks and the darker look of it, and I think it can produce really nice images, but it's not a recipe that's for like every situation, every subject. So yeah, I could definitely see it being a challenging one to use.
Yes, absolutely. And Christopher here is saying that, oh, he's asking rather, I should say, if we're here for the summit. Yeah, today I think all the platforms were buzzing with news about and
Hmm.
announcements about the summit. We are going to take that as our challenge to be done just in time so that everyone can hop over and watch as the summit starts. Don't we always like to set ourselves a bit of a challenge, Ritchie?
Yep.
While
And so
Simon's,
this is the X Summit pre-show.
it is, absolutely. And Simon's saying hello from Göttingen. Hello, Simon.
Hello.
It's really cool to have you here with us as well. And Millie is tuning in from Philadelphia. Very awesome. It's
Hi.
great to have you here. And Millie's new. Welcome to the show. Do they just show images or give the recipe? Or was this a recipe from the app? Okay, Millie, it's really cool to have you with us. We will explain everything as we go into the main show. You are at the moment in our pre-show, where we just have a bit of a chit-chat and get warmed up. That's why we're in black and white. We start off with the slideshow that you saw. Those were all images taken with the recipe that we introduced in the previous show. So if you haven't seen that yet, you've got quite a few episodes to do some catching up on. We will discuss it a little bit more during the show and then introduce a new recipe. So stick with us. There's lots to chat about. Yes, and
Hello,
we've got
David.
David back. Greetings back to you, David. It's awesome to have you here. David's been a live guest on our show 2 months ago. So it's really cool to have you here as well, David. And a lot of people already here. That's really cool. Robert,
Yeah, it's
hello,
amazing.
Robert. Yes, very nice to have you here with us as well. And thank you for your submissions. It's really awesome. So, yeah, so before everyone started tuning in here, we were talking about vintage aqua color to be a little bit challenging and not to everyone's taste. So we will see how that goes further on in the show. Simon agrees. He also thinks it was very challenging, especially for portraits. Yes, absolutely. But you just wait. We've got possibly quite the cure for you a little bit later on in the main show. So there is a bit of method in the madness, I think, I hope.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
I hope that the challenge of it is found to be something that helps you, right? When things are difficult, you have to work through them. You can grow from that. So even if this recipe you found it challenging, I hope it helped you in some way. Understand your camera better, or to learn something or experience something that you didn't experience before. I hope.
Yes, yeah. It's all about trial and error and to learn something
Hmm.
new. So I think it's quite nice to, have a recipe to pick one out of so many different ones, and then you can really focus on it and see what you like about it or what you don't like about it, so that you know, well, maybe, who knows, maybe it's a blessing in disguise that you say, well, vintage aquacolor, no, it's not for me. So I don't have to, I can focus on the 249 other ones.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yep.
And Kendra is with us as well. Hello, Kendra. Good to have you
Hello.
back. How are things over there in, I think, sunny California? Is that right? It's really great to have people come back. Oh, and Enrico's here from sunny Italy.
Hello.
Also really cool. How are temperatures by you, Ritchie? Are they slowly letting
Oh,
up or not yet?
no, not yet. No, it's I don't know, roughly 110-ish,
Okay, that's a
So
lot.
yeah, it's still the heat of summer,
All
probably
right.
for close to another month.
And Dan Ellen is here from New York, from the
Hello,
Buzz.
Dan. Yeah,
From
he
the
is in
Buzz.
the
And
heart of the buzz.
yes, he is.
Actually, he's in the heart of Kodak country.
Okay. Um,
Yep.
which is also cool. So,
Yeah,
um, very, very nice. Um, I have a quick question for you, though, Ritchie.
sure.
And I hope that the viewers agree with me, but I picked up that you've written, quite a bit recently about a new camera that you purchased.
Mm-hmm.
And, in light with the X Summit coming up and new cameras being
Mm-hmm.
announced, etc., you have a kind of like a new love affair going on here with the X70, I believe. There
We
it
have it right
is.
here. Yep.
Yes, very nice. So I want to know. I've read what you've written and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to find out what is the most. What is it? Like in a nutshell, like in one sentence, why you think the X70 is so great and why you are, probably in vain hoping for today an X80 being announced.
The what makes this camera right here special is that it fits into your pocket, and there are the XE4 is pretty small. You put a pancake lens on it. If your pocket's big enough, it'll fit into it. But this one doesn't need a big pocket to fit into. It's small enough; it'll fit in your pants pocket or wherever, so you can carry it everywhere, like literally everywhere. And that's what I've been doing with it. Is literally if I'm going to the grocery store, if I'm going to check the mail, whatever it is I have
Mm,
it. And there are other cameras that are also small, carry everywhere type cameras. But what makes this one unique from those is the I don't know if we can see it there, but it has the shutter knob and the dials and all the traditional controls of my other Fujifilm cameras. Right, a lot of the other pocket cameras, really almost all of the other pocket cameras don't have that. So that's what makes this one unique.
okay. And you don't miss the viewfinder at all?
I don't personally. I understand that that's a big deal for some people because the LCD is hard to see. What makes it easier is that the screen does, it's like the XE4, the
Mm-hmm.
screen moves all around all sorts of
Yeah.
directions. So if there's glare on it, you can move it and then the glare's gone.
All right. Interesting. So,
I do have to say though, there's been a number of times that I've gone like this, and then I'm like, oh yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to say because that actually happened to me this is
Yeah.
now a little while ago, when I tried out an XA7. I
Hmm.
constantly took it to my face. I'm definitely a
Yep.
viewfinder shooter, so
Yeah.
I don't share quite the same excitement about that camera as you do.
I
But
I I I think if they did make another one, simply having like a shoe mount adapter that you could then look through, something
mm,
like that would work.
yeah, I'm quite curious to find out what the viewers are thinking. Everyone, um, watching what kind of camera your favorite camera is, and why that is so. So if you have something, you want to share there with us, you're more than welcome to give it to us in the comments. If you've got any questions regarding that, please don't be shy. Ask away. This is why we're here. It's not only because Ritchie and I love talking to each other so very much, but we want to include you, and we want to make sure that if you have questions, if there's something you need help with, that we get to answer those questions.
Yep. And I got a question for you, Nathalie. I guess we
okay.
could talk to Bjorn, though.
Yes. He also thinks it's a great camera. Yeah. He thinks the X100 is often just a little bit too big. I think that's really interesting because out of all the, I've never actually thought that any of the Fujifilm cameras is too big, even though I've now been with the system for a long time. But, different strokes for different folks, so that's cool.
Yeah. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's already expensive. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some for $1,000, a used 6-year-old X70 selling for $300 more than the MSRP was when it came out. And that's pretty wild. That's
pretty.
Yes, and it just shows that the people who have them really like them, and the people who don't have them really want them.
Yes. Robert agrees with me here.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. And hello, Vintage Inside Photography. He did street photography with the Kodak Tame 400, nostalgia, color, and vintage negative recipes. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Work,
that's awesome.
Ritchie.
I'm just happy to be helpful, honestly. If I can help somebody's photography in some way like that, I'm really honored.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
And I have to apologize if my video quality is coming out pretty poorly. I don't know if it looks like that to the YouTube, but for some reason my internet connection seems to be on the fritz.
Yeah, we've been trying to get the handle on this before we started the live stream, but as always, live is live, and there's always something that happens. And Björn says it looks good on YouTube, so that's cool. So maybe this is just
that's great.
The monitors that we are looking at, so that would be fantastic. And if that is the case, then I don't need to apologize. But at the same time, who knows what's still ahead? So please bear with us. We are live and something can go wrong, but we are trying our best to get it smoothed out if any bug comes our way.
So my question to you, do we have time before our trivia question? Let's do the trivia question.
Yes, I think so. Let's quickly do the trivia question, and then we can move on to other questions. Okay, our trivia question for today is: what percentage of all photos are taken on smartphones? Okay, that's a good one. That is a really good one. This question, like the others that we use in the show, also in previous episodes, is taken from what's called the Photography Trivia Deck. It is something that I picked up of the Rocky Nook a little while ago. If anyone is into trivia, it is a really cool game that can be played. So we just try and keep it lighthearted and entertaining. Ritchie, do you have a guess of a percentage what this could possibly be?
I'm going to go really high. I'm going to say it's 82%. That's my guess, 82%.
Okay, 82. That's really cool. I thought probably even more than that. So Robert's with you. He is on 85%. Thank you for your guess, Robert. I think I'm gonna lock mine in on 90, just because I roll that way today. If you have any guesses, please let us know. Björn is with me on 90%. Yeah. All right, that's cool. Any other guesses?
I'll put a little plug for Ritchie Cam here. So if you are taking your photos on your iPhone, use Ritchie Cam.
Yes. So, Ritchie, you're in the pound seat because you're like, I really don't mind. As long as it's either the app or the app, I'm good.
Yeah.
So you win either way. That's really cool. Okay,
Oh,
we have Randy
97%.
with a guess of 97. All right. All right. That's really cool. Okay, so we have 82, 85, 90, and 97. Can I hear more? Can I hear more?
Yeah, there you
David's
go.
also on 90. All right, cool. This is a
I
really
thought I was
interesting
guessing
question.
high, but now I'm guessing mine's a low number.
Shame. Yeah, so we'll see just now. So please carry on guessing. That's really cool. We have a few more minutes, so you can check. Just don't cheat and ask Google. We just like to have a little bit of fun and get our brain cells moving a little bit. So nothing too serious. No prizes to be won.
No.
Just a noddy badge that you got it right or wrong. All good. Bring in your guesses, and maybe now is a good time for you to ask me that question that you wanted to ask.
Yeah. I wanted to ask if you have gone on Netflix and seen the show Devil in Ohio. It's a new series that just came out. Have you seen that?
That is so funny. I went on Netflix yesterday to check it out, but my agenda didn't allow me to actually watch it. But I have added it to my watch list, and depending on how today goes, I may start with the first episode.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
So that I'm not gonna give. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there is a big surprise at the end. So, not spoiling, giving anything away.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, you'll have to watch it all the way through, and then your jaw will drop at the end. And I'm not gonna say anything more about that. But
okay.
The reason I bring this up, and everybody's probably like wondering, like, what does this have to do with Fujifilm and straight out of camera and all that stuff? One of the lead characters in that show, Gerardo, he plays the police officer in there. He shoots Fujifilm cameras and uses the film simulation recipes and has the Fuji X Weekly app on his phone and even the Ritchie Cam app on his phone. So he's very much a big fan of this whole community, and he's a part of it. And so just wanted to give that little shout out there to him. So
yes,
go watch Devil in Ohio on Netflix.
Yes, very, very cool. I remember quite a while back we discussed this offline during a preparation for one of the shows. And and I read the interview the other day on your blog. So there's that background information. And I thought in preparation, because I never quite know what kind of questions you may shoot my way or whatever it may be, I'm like, I better get clued up about this. And well, at least I've checked, and it's definitely, on my wish list. It will be watched in the next couple of days for sure, and looking forward to it. And I think it's really cool that he is as keen a photographer as he is. I mean, he seems, with the photographs that I saw, he's really accomplished. So we need to, support each other in this, definitely.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do we have any more guesses for our trivia question? Is there anybody else who wants to have a try? In the meantime, I have upside down. I have the card in front of me, and the card has the answer. We've seen Björn's guess, we've seen Robert's guess, and we have seen Randy clocking a whopping 97%. We have 90 also from David. So let's just, check in. So we started Ritchie with 82, we have 85, we have 90, and we have 97. Ritchie, can you give us a drum roll for the results?
Yeah.
There we go. Yay. So, yay. Hold on a second. The answer is 85%.
Wow.
So,
Yay.
Ritchie, you were extremely close, and I think the Noddy badge for this evening or for today goes to Robert. Congratulations. Very cool guess indeed.
Guess exactly. Yay.
And we found our sound effects already. So, hold on to your horses for the main show. Is all I can say. Yeah, but that was really cool. Yep. Yeah, that is quite something. I think
great guess, Robert.
Camera manufacturers must not be too happy about that percentage, but oh well. It is what it is.
Well, and I think it goes to show that if they did include more integration with the cell phone technology into the camera somehow, they really need to start pulling from that and incorporate it into the bigger cameras, I think.
Yes, absolutely. But exciting times ahead. More exciting times also, obviously, thinking about, the X Summit coming our way. So, yeah, with that, we are all, interested to see what's going to actually be revealed. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the main show. And the time is moving swiftly along. If there are any more questions, you can ask them quickly now or hold them for during the main show. We are still always open to questions and want to hear from you and are happy to answer them. But I think since it's, just a little bit over a minute to go, we should wrap this up and say that we will see you in the main show. What do you think, Ritchie? Are you ready?
I am ready. I am very ready. All right, let's do this.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Alrighty, with that said, we will see you all in the main show. Ritchie, I'll see you on the flip side. And don't go anywhere.
We'll see you soon. Very soon.
Yes, very, very soon.
As we watch the clock.
Yes.
Countdown here.
Counting down.
Any moment.
Counting down. Any moment now. Yes. Going.
Let's do this.
Good.
Let's do this.
Hello. Welcome to another show of SOOC, where we do and talk about everything straight out of camera. It is wonderful to have you here with us. For everyone who's just tuned in, my name is Nathalie. I am talking to you from Johannesburg in South Africa. And for everyone who's already been watching the pre-show, thank you so much for sticking with us. And sorry for the little wobble there in between. We are obviously in episode number 7. And the show is called Kodak Portra 400 because that's what's coming our way a little bit later on in the show. If you are new today, welcome. It's great to have you here with us. And I would like to just quickly let you know SOC is all things straight out of camera. We are focusing on Fujifilm film simulation recipes to make your life quick and easy so that you can focus on shooting JPEGs without having to go through the schlep of editing, and you can focus on the actual experience of taking photographs. We're trying to make it easy and quick and get you beautiful looking images straight out of camera. I am not here alone. I am here with my hosts, and I would like to give a warm welcome to Ritchie Roesch from FujiX Weekly, who is here with us to talk us through a whole lot of things that we've prepared for you. And here he is. Hello, Ritchie. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you so much for sticking with us as well. We've just had a bit of a chit-chat in our pre-show. So everyone who's been with us already, thank you so much for, staying tuned in. We've had a couple of people who are tuning in for the first time, which is always super exciting. So if that's you, let us know in the comments. We want to send a nice warm welcome to everyone who's joining in for the first time. We have Pilot Pete, who's joining us from Hollywood, Los Angeles. Well, that's very awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's wonderful to have you here with us. And we do this every month. Ritchie and I are tuning in once a month on YouTube and have one recipe that we choose from all the awesome recipes that Ritchie has created for us on his FujiX Weekly app. And we challenge you to photograph with that recipe for a month, and then come back a month later, share with us, upload some images that you've shot with the recipe, and share in your experience and what you thought of the recipe and how you liked it. This is if you've tuned in like right from the beginning, where this viewer slideshow comes in. Those are images that have been shared with the viewer by the viewers with us, and we compile that little slideshow, and check out what everyone's been getting up to. And we'll look at some more images a little bit later on in the show. So Ritchie and I, we both choose some that we want to talk about.
And we're really honored and just that you guys took time out of your day to join us. And we're here for you. Ask us questions, give us some statements, and let us help you in your Fujifilm journey, in your straight out of camera journey. We want to partner with you in your photography in whatever way that we can, whatever capacity. And so that's what this show is about. So it's about you, and we're honored that you tuned in. And just don't hesitate at all to type away in the comments to let us know what you're thinking, what you're wondering, what you want to know. And we hope to help you with that.
Yes, absolutely. This is why we're here, and enjoying new people, and also, of course, the people who come back month after month, which is really awesome. So thank you guys for your amazing support. You can share away, invite other friends to join us on the show as well. We'd love to grow this community because we know there are a lot of us out there who enjoy shooting with recipes. But we've got this big old news advert here, like right in the middle. So let's jump right in there. We have quite a few news that we would like to announce here. As always, we are starting out with the 10-year of X-mount celebration that Fujifilm is holding this year. And this month's theme officially is travel photography. And I thought that's a really cool plug for us, isn't it, Ritchie? Because we have talked about travel photography before.
Yeah, it sure is.
So 2 months, 2 episodes back, we spoke about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we give you some ideas for some recipes to use for travel photography. Ektachrome 100 SW, dramatic classic chrome, and vibrant Velvia, depending on what camera you're using, maybe depending on where you're doing your traveling to. And it was in our Eterna Bleach Bypass episode. So go back and look for that one if you missed it.
Yes, exactly. So we will be sharing a link in the comments at the end of the show as well, so you can find your way straight. And if you are watching this not live, but a little bit later, you can check in the description of the show. You will find the link to that show as well. So you can, check it all out. There are really some interesting recipes to help you along if you are traveling and you're stuck for some inspo. So that was the first part of our news. Together with this 10 years of X-mount, we had a call to invite you to share some images with you of that you shot with your Fujifilm cameras, like right in the beginning when you started your Fujifilm journey. And we thought we celebrate viewers' images like you see here on the screen. This one is one of Ritchie's first Fujifilm image, which is obviously really, really cool. And we invite you to share an image with us that really made you go, oh wow, this is really cool. I get this straight out of camera, or I get this, from a Fujifilm camera, whatever it may be. You can use the normal upload link and tag the image with 10 years of X-mount so that we know that this is where the image goes. And we will share that later on in the last episode of the year with everyone. But we are galloping ahead with the news. So I think let's just go there while we had it on the screen. And everyone's been talking about this. And we've chatted a little bit about this already also in the pre-show. So, the big news, the Fujifilm X Summit coming in less than an hour's time. And we tried to be done with this show, so by the time this goes live, so that you can go smoothly from one live stream to the next. I'm quite excited to hear what's actually officially going to be announced and what the show will be like, and how this will all unfold. Do you have any hopes, fears, wants? What is your expectation of what's coming today at the X Summit, Ritchie?
Well, I think I have a lot of hopes and wants, but my expectations are that Fujifilm will announce the XH2 and a couple of lenses. Lenses are always great. Whenever you have more lens options, that's always wonderful. So, that's probably what I'm most excited about of all of it. And then maybe the next X Summit, maybe it'll be something that I hope or want.
Yes. In the X double digit department, we were just talking about it in the pre-show, but Ritchie is secretly hoping for an X80. I'm sure everyone who's reading Ritchie's blog knows about that. We will see what happens. Yeah, so if you have any views on or hopes what's coming up in the X Summit, please share that with us in the comments. Or if you have any other questions, you're more than welcome to ask us anytime during the show. If we don't answer your question straight away when you ask it, we will make time at the end of the show to do so. We will, the team in the background is holding whatever questions. If, we don't have the time right now, we will answer them at the end. So don't despair, don't go anywhere. We will answer your question no matter what it may be. So don't hold back and ask away. And if you have any
Yeah,
comments,
and sometimes we don't get to a question.
go ahead.
I was going to
Ritchie.
say just that we don't have, if we don't answer the question in the show, sometimes we will answer it in a future show, a future episode.
Yes, that's a very, very good point, because sometimes it's a really good question and there's more that can be, answered to that. So whatever the question is, we'll get to that. And yes, we hear you in X Pro 5. Okay, you're ahead of your time, but we will see when that may get announced. Okay, or even an X Pro 4.
Yep.
Yes, that's a bit more likely. But yeah, it's good.
Mm.
And yes, the camera remote app.
Oh, maybe.
The camera remote app. There were, talks about it. I think, well, in a way, I think maybe they take a little bit more time just to, really dedicate time to, get it a bit more refined, because we all know we love it. And then again, it sometimes lets us down. So we'll see about that. And Pilot
It's
Peak
better to
wants
get
an
it right.
XT5 with an XT3 screen. Yes, I'm with you 100%. With you 100% there.
Oh, there you go. That would be incredible.
I'm sure.
Fujifilm just needs to contact me.
You're saying you would be open for suggestions there?
Yes, absolutely.
Very cool. I just quickly want to throw in there for a second. There is a bit of a delay between Ritchie and I, and we try to attend to it. We are not quite sure where it comes from. It's again something that live productions bring with them. And so if we are stumbling over each other's words once in a while, please forgive us. It's because, my voice hasn't quite traveled all the way to Ritchie yet by the time he starts speaking, or vice versa. But we're trying.
I have about a
here.
7-second delay right now, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty long. So please forgive us. But yeah, be that as it may, we can move on to another news item that I just quickly wanted to mention, because it's a really, really cool project that's coming up this Saturday, 10th of September, especially for everyone who's keen on street photography. It's the 24-hour project. We've mentioned it before in a show. It is a really cool project, and it also serves a really good purpose. So go and support it. You can go to the website 24hourproject.org and you can read more about it. It's really, really simple, the way you can get involved. You just, it's a group all over the world. There are many groups, but you can do this yourself. All you need to do is stay awake for 24 hours, and you start shooting one image every hour from midnight on the Saturday, the 10th of September, and you submit them to the Instagram page There are all the instructions on the website. Go read up on it. They have, hashtags, etc., that you add when you post. And you can register to make sure that you're, in the system with them. It's absolutely free. It's a wonderful experience. We'll put the link also in the comments. And I've participated twice and have written a bit of blog posts about it. So you're more than welcome to check those out and see, how my 24 hours went. I'll share those links as well. And yes, Björn also shared in that 24-hour project. He loved it. But yes, 24 hours is a long time. It's really interesting. We have someone tuning in from India. That's really cool. Thank you so much for joining us. And I wanted to say, Ritchie, have you ever done a photo marathon like that before?
No, I never have. Just never participated in something quite like that.
Yeah, it's pretty. It
takes a lot of stamina, I would think.
Yes, it does. But I could think of like a 24 recipe marathon, one recipe per hour.
Yeah.
So that could be really cool. Anyway, go check it out.
That's a good way to incorporate both.
Sorry, Ritchie. But yes, go check it out and see if you have the time. Moving on to the tip of the day. We get quite a few questions. I pick it up a lot in the different forums, and I'm sure, Ritchie, you also get this question quite a bit. So we thought we've spoken about this before. But I think it's, important enough to, talk about it a little bit more and a little bit more in detail. And this is, how can I figure out which recipe I've shot with after I have taken the picture and probably downloaded it from my camera? So the first thing is, even though you save the name of the recipe in the camera, but the JPEG does not hold that in the EXIF, which is, where the problem kind of comes in, where you need to stay organized, as we want to put it. So there are different ways how people help themselves, and I've picked up something that I thought was quite interesting, and that is, you have Q1 to 7 in most of the cameras, and some people, before they start shooting the actual photographs, they hold their hand in front of the camera and they take a photo of the number of fingers, which, depending on what recipe is in your C1, 2, 3, 4, in this case 5 menu of the camera. And I don't know about you, but I only have 5 fingers. And I count the German way. And I'm quite keen to hear what Ritchie has to say, but I was taught to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And you see where the problem comes in, right? I need 2 hands to count to 7. So either I can shoot only with 5 recipes, or I can maybe adapt. And Ritchie, help me out here. Is it the American way of, how do you count from 1 to 5 with your fingers?
The same as you.
Oh,
1,
really?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah.
Okay. So then maybe it's a British way. I'm not quite sure. But my husband taught me, don't be silly. This is not how you count. You count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there would be your answer on how you can this would be 1 to 5, and then this can only be 6, and this can only be 7. So if if this is something that can help you, then totally unrelated to anything straight out of camera, but who knows? We learn something new every day. So this is a cool way.
So the way that this would work. Yeah, so the way that this would work is that when you move your thing, let's say to C2 in your custom presets, you would, before you take any pictures with it, you would snap one picture really quick of 2 fingers, and then when you get to that, all the pictures after that until you see another picture of your hand with fingers is with that recipe.
Yes, thank you very much for clarifying this. I don't think I was very clear to start off with. So thanks for making sure that I'm not just trying to teach people how to count with their fingers, but that this is supposed to help you to remember which recipe you shot with. Another quite useful tool can be a website. I've tried a couple of apps that make the rounds, which I never found that they really give you a good result. If you need to get back to the metadata of your image, this website is very reliable. It's greybeard.org.uk. We'll share the link in the comments at the end of the show and in the description as well. It still doesn't give you the name of the recipe, but with looking at the different parameters in the EXIF, you can kind of reverse engineer what recipe you shot with, which can be really useful. And Enrico's saying, actually, you can guess the film simulation and some of the JPEG parameters from the metadata. Digicam can display them. So I think this is another app. Some do. You can, if the JPEG is still in the camera, I should say, then it's a lot easier, because then you will see those same parameters that you see that the website, for example, gives you. But I guess it's more the case if you've downloaded the JPEGs already and you want to find out more about the JPEG. Be that as it may, all those are ways that can help you out if you lost your way. But we're here to try and teach you to be more efficient and to spend less time behind the computer. So I suggested something already last year when Ritchie and I think it was in the second episode or something, when I started shooting with JPEGs, and I just took a photograph of the recipe from the Fuji X Weekly app, and all the images thereafter are then shot with this recipe until I change the recipe, take another photograph of the new recipe, and then all the pictures thereafter are with that new recipe. And hello to Baltimore. And I tried different ways, and I thought maybe taking a photo every time, maybe it's a little bit too much. Maybe I can shortcut this a little bit now, that I'm shooting more often with JPEGs and I'm getting more experienced or whatever. And I just, whenever I did not stick to my system, I just always felt a little bit lost. So I do recommend this, definitely tried and tested for me.
And this is how I do it as well. That's my personal method of keeping track of what, ever since Nathalie suggested it. I thought it was pretty ingenious. So yeah, that's what I do when I change the recipe in the camera. The first picture, I take a quick snap of the app with that recipe in it, and then I know from then until I take another picture of the app with a different recipe in it that all those pictures were captured with that recipe.
Yes. So very cool. I'm glad we got to share that with you, so you can try it out and see how that works for you. It clearly works for the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Very well.
Yep.
Moving along swiftly to my favorite part of the show, Not really, because they're all my favorite parts. We have recipes for you that we recommend for everyday use. A lot of people have asked for many different occasions, but everyday always comes up as well as, really important. You want to load one recipe or maybe two recipes that you can use for any kind of situation that you find yourself in. So we've compiled three that we can recommend to you, that you can shoot no matter what you find yourself in. And we have selected some from that you can use with different sensors as well. So we are starting out with a really cool one for the latest Extrons 4 sensors, and that is Fujicolor NPS 160 pulled. And I'd like to hand over to you, Ritchie. What it makes this recipe stand out, and why can we use it like in any situation?
So this Fujicolor NPS recipe is really nice because not only do you get the great classic negative palette, but it's a very kind of lower contrast, lower saturation version, and probably more importantly for being able to use it in every situation, it uses the auto white balance. So um, really, it doesn't matter if it's bright daylight, if it's indoor artificial light, or anything like that. If you're doing portraits, if you're doing landscapes, you can produce really nice results with this recipe. So just it's one of those ones that you could put in C1, use it all the time, no matter what, and you probably get really good results in almost every scenario with that recipe. And it is for the X Pro 3 and newer cameras.
Yes, a really, really cool recipe to try. And like Ritchie said already, the auto white balance plays a big role in being able to use this recipe for any situation, because you won't get any funky white balance shifts. This is also the case for the Kodachrome 2 recipe that we chose for anyone that shoots with Extrons 3 sensors, isn't it?
2.
Extrons 2, sorry.
Extrans 2.
It's for Extrons 2 cameras. You
Yeah,
can obviously also, newer cameras can also use it. But it is another really
If
cool
you
one.
have a Bear model, you can use in that too.
Excellent. So a really all-round recipe that will give you wonderful results. And we have a third one in the mix, which is the ProNeg High, which is also a really versatile recipe, and another auto white balance one.
Yep.
Um,
And that one's for X-Trans 3, and you can use it in the XT3 and XT30 as well.
Yes. So, as always, we're covering all our bases, and want to make sure that you can choose something no matter what camera you're shooting on. So give them a try, and if you want, take a screenshot so you have a visual reference of the different recipes. And we hope you find something that you like, find useful for every day.
Yep.
However, today we have been already looking at the viewer slideshow with images shot in vintage Agfa color, and there is some more images to come. It's the recipe we introduced in the last episode, and we've received a number of images from everyone. Thank you so much for submitting the photographs you've taken over the last month. Please do share with us in the comments if what you thought of it, how you liked it, what your experience was with it. We have a couple of samples that Ritchie and I shot, so let's go have a look-see how we use that recipe.
Yeah, so this one here, you can see that it's a little bit darker because I like to, with this recipe, I like to take that exposure compensation dial, turn it down a little bit, not be afraid of getting some blacks. And when you do that, the like you notice the blue in the sky, it just turns this kind of like teal color almost, and it produces a really interesting look, and it really becomes a vintagey kind of aesthetic when you do bring that exposure down just a little bit.
Yes, yeah, it's always cool to check out the sky and how the different recipes
Mhm.
render the blue in the skies. Not something that I can say about my first sample image that's coming up next. I just enjoyed the light and the look of it. No blues in there at all, but nice and
Mhm.
vintagey. So I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I didn't have much for breakfast, so now I'm hungry for some bread.
Sorry.
So,
You're
yep.
spending a lot of time
So
looking into the
again, I
sky.
captured the sky. I am. You know, especially I like clouds. It can be interesting, and so I just saw this one kind of between the trees, and took a picture again, bringing that exposure compensation down a little bit. It does look like the clouds are blown out a little bit. That's just because of the YouTube stuff. But if you saw that picture outside of YouTube, it doesn't. It's not, the cloud isn't blown out.
Mm. Yeah, it's very, very cool. Very nice. I love clouds too, but I love flowers more. Or at least I've been on a recent hunt for some spring flowers, and this is where I captured this image, and I just love the how this purple and green come together. So
Yeah, it's a
vintage
beautiful
agricolor
picture.
definitely works for this scene. Thank you. It also works for this one though. Very cool.
Yeah, but it's springtime where you're at, and the flowers are coming out. And in my experience, also is that this recipe does really well for flowers, and for especially get those purple and lavender flowers and stuff.
Mm.
It's You get some really interesting results. Yeah, this just behind the behind the wood fence there is a tractor, and I didn't want to trespass too much to get a picture of it, so I tried to incorporate that into the composition.
Yes, very nice. And I think it's very cool. And I love all those palm trees. And just to, close it off with a little bit of humor, it also works really nice on, fur and pink tongues as well. So, but we want to have a look at what the viewers shared with us, and we've selected a few, which is, by no means crit of any images, but we just pick and choose as we feel, what kind of images, really make the recipe stand out, or what kind of different things you can expect when shooting with a recipe of the month. So shall we dive into
Yeah, we
what
can't
we've
share them
selected?
all. Yep, let's do it. And yeah, I wish we could share them all, and but just for time's sake, we can't. And so that's why we do the slideshow at the beginning and the end that show all of them. Um, but Philip submitted this picture here, an interesting little street scene, and I like the yellows and the blues. And this is actually probably turning up the exposure a little bit up on this recipe, and you can see how that's produces a lot different of a look that's like very bright, and I think it complements the colors that are there.
Yes, it's a very nice, vibrant feel to this image. So thank you, Philip, for submitting that. And then on the contrary, we have the submission from Torsten. Thank you for sending in your image. I always love to, check out reds in different recipes as well. And here I think, as opposed to Philip's very bright image, here you can see the more muted look of the colors, and where the top half of the images could almost be monochrome, and then you see that muted red in the floor. So I thought that was a really good, and symmetry wise, a very cool captured image as well. So well done, Torsten. Thank you.
And then next here we have Robert sent us this picture, shared with us this picture of a classic airplane. And not only do I think the subject's kind of cool here, but you can see how the greens and the blues are handled by this recipe. Get an idea for how those colors will render when you use it. So thanks, Robert, for sending us this picture.
Yes, thank you very much indeed. Our winner of our trivia in the pre-show. Thank you.
Yay!
And then we have this really cool capture from Stuart, who has clearly been somewhere where you can find camels. A very awesome scene, and that cyan is just so cyany in the sky and in the reflection. So very well captured. Absolutely love it, and very vintagey in Agfacolor.
And then Simon captured this image, just found some really extraordinary contrasty light with mostly a dark image here in the shadow, but just this very bright highlights. That's actually a really tricky picture to capture, just because it's easy to overexpose it. So well done as far as that goes. Not that we're critiquing, but yeah, I just the highlights really stand out to me in just how they're just a little bit there on the left, the bottom left.
Yes, yeah, definitely an interesting image indeed. And another very different take on the recipe. So thank you for sharing that. And then we also have a submission from Kim, who submitted for the first time. Thank you for finding us and for sharing your work with us. I have been trying to figure out what's going on in this image. I absolutely love the red and the blue and the reflections, so that's very nice. But I actually think this image is tilted, so I hope it is supposed to be tilted like that. So thank you very much for sharing.
It's a bit abstract.
Yes, yeah. We're cool. We like a bit of abstract here and there. So thank you for your submission. And then we have one image left, and that is the image that we feel overall gives a really good representation of the recipe, and shows what you can expect and achieve, the kind of a look that you can get with the recipe that you we chose. So should we have a look at that one?
Yes. Yay!
It's about time that we have some more sound effects. Thank you so much, Dan, for sharing this image with us.
They're overdue.
Yes. Obviously the scene is really cool, and this graffiti is absolutely awesome. The way that it's captured, and then also the shadow, how it falls and everything, is a really interesting image. And what I absolutely love about it is that there is almost like every color in the spectrum in there, so you can really see how the recipe renders the different colors. So congratulations, and it's a great pleasure, Dan.
Thank you for sharing the photo with us.
Yes. That's very cool indeed. Okay, the mural at the skate park under a bridge in Rochester. Thank you so much for giving us that background information. And thanks to everyone who've submitted the images. Thank you so much, Robert. That's very kind. Extending the congrats. And if you haven't tuned in before the beginning, at the very beginning of the show, into the pre-show, we showed the slideshow of all the submissions that we've received, and we will show all those pictures again at the end of the show. So if you haven't caught them yet, you can catch them at the end. So, don't go anywhere. And definitely don't go anywhere now, because we have, we have a live guest with us today, which we're really super excited about. And we have Björn, who's been also very keen and eager in the comments already today. We are super excited to have you with us, Björn. Just a quick introduction before he comes on. He is also known as the Flying Photographer. He is very passionate about aviation, travel, and photography, which is a magic mix. He is an airline captain. He's based in Dubai. So he gets to travel the world, take photographs, and tell super awesome stories that he shares on his Instagram. And has a lot of experience. He's traveled over 90 countries, so that's really, really pretty amazing. But that's not all.
Bjorn is a Belgian-born ex-photographer for Fujifilm Middle East, and he shoots street, travel, aerial, and aviation photography. So let's welcome Bjorn to our show.
Yes, he's here with us. And,
yes, yay!
Hello.
Here he is.
How are you doing today, Björn? Okay.
It's both Nathalie and a bit different for you, Ritchie. I guess it's truly an international show tonight, being on 3 different continents. So that makes it quite interesting. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes,
Amazing.
indeed. It's absolutely awesome to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining
and thank
us.
you so much for sticking around in the green room behind the scenes while we are getting to this point in the show. Björn, you have been shooting Fujifilm for quite some time. You've been an extra photographer for a while now, but your journey started a little bit before then. How did you get to start shooting Fujifilm?
Yeah, I was indeed an early adapter to the Fujifilm system. Basically, I've been shooting about a good 20 years now. Professionally, semi-professionally, if you want, doing quite a bit of commercial work on the side. Less so lately, but and it was about end of 2012, actually, just about 10 years ago, that I rented an XC1 camera here in Dubai for 3 days, thinking, I might as well give it a try. After day one, I basically immediately called up the guys and I said, I want one of these things. So I pre-ordered an XE1, which wasn't even available at the time. And that was a camera I basically started taking with me on trips around the world. The main reason being that the DSLR was just too big, too heavy, and I was often left behind. So obviously having a smaller camera with this new mirrorless system was quite a change. Eventually it also meant that I got rid of all my full frame DSLR stuff and then joined the X-Photographer program in, I believe, 2014 or 15. So that's been quite a while as well. It's been an exciting ride. Yeah,
very nice, very nice indeed. And being on the show means that you also shoot JPEGs. Do you use?
I do. Yeah.
please go ahead.
No, yeah. So basically, when I started traveling with a small camera, it was immediately obvious that the JPEGs were actually of a much better quality than just the average, especially at the time. I'm talking more than 10 years ago. The average DSLR JPEG, there was many more possibilities. I started traveling kind of and taking just pictures on the street, not really knowing what street photography was. It's kind of I took more and more until somebody said, Bjorn, you actually know that's a specific genre, which I wasn't even really aware about. Now, looking back, street photography is now a big part of the work I do. I do quite a bit of talks and workshops around street photography as well. People sometimes ask, what is the definition of a street photo? To me, and it's who are we to say what it is, right? So to me, it's kind of capturing human life in public spaces, mostly candid, not necessarily. But the big thing is that street photography doesn't necessarily have to have people in the shots. It could just be an overflowing garbage bag or something like that in a street corner, which obviously is showing a lot of human element or the lack of respect and stuff like that. So it's quite a wide range of photography, and I really enjoy it. Kind of, it's probably my top two next to aerial photography. Is definitely street photography.
Yes. I'm sure there are a lot of like-minded people in the audience, and I know Ritchie also does quite a bit of street photography. You've got some images here
I do a little,
to show us. You do a little.
Yes, you can. Let's have a look at excuse me, a few images. The first image that hopefully is going to come into view now. To me, street photography can be done in different ways. The first, often it's being referred to as the 3 Fs. The first F stands for fishing, and fishing is really when you stand in a certain place, and when you actually, the background or the foreground in this case here is in place. You're just waiting for the correct or the good subject or person to move into your scene and then click the shutter. This is an image consisting of four squares, all shot in camera. There's no editing done. Even the square format was actually pre-programmed in camera. And what we're looking at is basically, for the people, because it's relatively small, it's one of these walkways or travelators or whatever they call these vertical escalators. And at Brussels Airport, they basically put on some stickers at the lower side, which I found was a great idea, just to keep people busy trying to kind of frame images like I've done here. So that's a typical fishing kind of technique. That's the first F. If you move on to the next image, which would be under the following kind of concept. And in following, you don't stay necessarily at the same place, but you're actually moving around. Like these two guys carrying this table through Manhattan on a cold winter day. And basically waited, you probably can't really see it, but the phone booth on the right has a title, something like Freeze Your Fat. There is an ice cream truck in the background. All make it quite an interesting setup, obviously. And again, shot in camera. There's no editing. There's no kind of. I believe it was shot probably in classic chrome, if I remember well. So that's the second F, fishing, and then following. The third F, since it's a family show, it sounds like duck, but it starts with an F. If you can move on to that image, it's basically. It's when you walk around and all of a sudden you're confronted with a scene and you say, I have to take a picture of this, right? So it's kind of, it comes out of nowhere. And it highlights the fact that obviously we should always be ready with our cameras. So I see so many people walking around the city with a lens cap on the camera. If you come across a moment like this, you're never going to be ready to take the image, right? And it's perfectly fine just to take the images in automatic mode. You don't have to be fiddling around with apertures and shutter speeds and stuff like that. If you want to capture a moment like this, it's all about the moment, isn't it? So
Yes.
these are the 3 Fs. I think it was Matt Stewart, a famous street photographer from the UK, who actually came up with this concept. But it's something which is often taught in street photography circles.
Yes. I have seen the images before the show.
Well,
so,
thank you for sharing that.
you know, yes. So, but, for a moment, you probably had some people worried with your introduction of the last image, not knowing exactly what's going to be shown. But yeah, these are very, very cool images. And quite the, thank you for sharing also the feedback. The background information on that, and the fact that they were shot in camera. I think that's a really great statement to all of us why we're here and what we are talking about. But there is more to your work, Björn. You don't only do street photography as such, you also set yourself some personal projects that you shoot on an ongoing basis. So you sent us some images to tell us a little bit about some of them.
Personal projects have always played a big role in my photography, especially if you feel a little bit down or if you feel kind of a little bit lack of inspiration. A personal project can be great for that. What we're looking at here is a project I titled White, and it's actually shot on the JFX system. It could potentially be done on an X series as well, obviously. You can see the format is a little bit bizarre. We're obviously looking at two different images, which are basically put together. They shot in a 65:24 aspect ratio, which is a bit of a strange number kind of thing. Ritchie might know this, but it actually comes from the X-Pan cameras, the film cameras made in the 1990s. I think it was a consortium between Fujifilm and Hasselblad, I think, where they're basically putting in two 35mm frames next to each other. Makes for a very interesting kind of aspect ratio. And that highlights as well the fact that shooting in camera is not only just programming a film simulation or a film recipe. It could also be just setting up a certain aspect, shooting in square, or in this case, in this wide panoramic kind of image. If we can move on to the next one, which is still part of the series as well. As I said, I kind of always try to bounce off each other and often work with contrast in my images. Not really contrast in a photographic way, but more in a content way. You have this posh villa at the top there in Dubai with the Burj Khalifa standing out. Not really my cup of tea, but... and then this lonely facade, this house they may be starting to build one day. It's all about contrast here. Again, a project which keeps on going, still hasn't really finished. And often with projects, you don't necessarily need an end date kind of thing. If we can move on to the next project, which is titled Sideways, that's a project that was started in COVID times when we're not allowed to go outside. We were allowed at some stage to do a little bit of driving. And I basically documented these road trips around the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, through the side window of my car, just lowering the window and basically shooting whatever I came across of. Not really avoiding people because it was in COVID times. So the whole series, which consists now of more than 200, I think, images, don't contain a single human figure. They do contain some animals. If we can move on to the next one, even the mirror plays quite a big role as well. There's this funny, obviously misspelled no parking sign, which got my attention. And there's a whole bunch of different things, which again make for an interesting little project, I think.
Yes, it's very nice, and I enjoy the rearview mirror, how you incorporate that in there as well. It's nice. A lot of food for thought there.
Yes, exactly. And the last one, there's more than that, but the last one I'll discuss here is basically what I titled Cloudscapes. I think it was Ritchie hinting at that he loves observing and shooting clouds. I do as well. And often it always comes to having a camera with you. This was shot on the side of the highway. I pulled over on the side, stuck my camera outside of the window, framed 2 or 3 shots, and kept on driving. If the camera wouldn't be next to me, obviously I would have missed that shot. And what I like here is obviously the shadow of that cloud being casted and kind of making a very interesting kind of line. And then the last image, which is a cloudscape image as well, again illustrates the fact of having a camera with you. Like we said before, the cloud is not blown out for real. It's typical YouTube kind of lower resolution, but underexposed, obviously, for this little bird with this thunderstorm in the background, making for quite just having a walk around the neighborhood and seeing what you can actually what you can capture.
Yes.
That's it.
Very, very, very nice.
Amazing pictures.
Yeah, so the images are obviously fantastic, and I hope that, you know, with you going out and shooting quite a bit, that the fact that you can dial in some recipes into your camera and shoot straight out of camera helps you with your workflow.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, quite often in the early days of my shooting on Fujifilm system, what I was often doing is trying to mimic a JPEG using a RAW. But then in the end, you're actually asking yourself the question, why am I spending all this time here trying to kind of mimic something that I already have, right? And things like Fuji X Weekly, the recipes, thanks Ritchie, to kind of create the amazing work you've done.
You're welcome.
It's something I basically use every day. It's just a daily kind of habit of shooting in camera.
I
Thank
was
you.
waiting for this one, yeah. So this sound effect went, I think it goes to both of you. Ritchie, for amazing work that you've done. Without, obviously, none of us would be here now. And Björn, thank you so much for sharing this. And like David says, thank you, David, for sharing this comment. Your website's full of great imagery, so go and check out
Thanks, David.
Björn's work also on Instagram. Very prolific, a lot of images, and I think
he's an ex-photographer for a reason.
Yes, definitely. And Randy says, the wide aspect ratio is amazing. I'd like to experiment more with aspect ratios myself. I also love personal projects, but sometimes I'm left wondering what to do with them. Wow, this is a really interesting point, actually, because I also think personal projects are amazing, especially when you're a working photographer. You need something that you do for yourself and with yourself. And we've spoke about it a little bit in preparation for the show, Björn and I, how, you know, you do end up with a finished result or an interim result with your photo books, isn't it?
Yes.
Björn?
Yeah, I do. This is just another project. It's just a little sample of a book on street signs. To me, often when a project comes to a close, that's a good moment to actually put everything into a little book. A book I make for myself. It's not there to be sold or whatever. Sometimes I just give it to friends as a present, but it's almost like finishing the project off in the form of a book is actually a good way.
Yes, I think that's really, really valuable information. I think we don't take enough time and focus on that. Sometimes our work is really important just for ourselves, and we, you know, don't go out there and make that effort. We always think, you know, the client needs to be served and needs to get that extra, extra time and extra work and extra effort from our side, but we don't give that back to ourselves. And I think with personal projects and printing photographs, printing books, and doing that, it really does, give back to ourselves, which, I could only recommend
Absolutely.
if you don't, to also do that a little bit
Good.
for yourself.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes. So we're going to quickly hop on over to the next part of the show. Björn is still with us, so no need to be worried there. We're just moving him off the screen for a moment. While we're hopping into what's coming next, we're finished with vintage Aquacolor, which I'm sure by the comments some people are quite relieved about. And we are hopping into the opposite end of the spectrum, if I can, put it like this, because we're looking at Kodak Portra 400. And I hope a lot of you are, jumping and are joyful about that. And thank you to Ritchie for creating this recipe for us. Do you have some, a little bit of a background to quickly explain to us about this recipe?
Yeah, so Kodak Portra 400 film is about 25 years old now, roughly, I think. And so it's been a very popular film, especially amongst professional photographers that use film. It kind of came at the very end of the film era when film was king, and it like right away became a top film. And the emulsion has had a lot of different variations and versions and updates and stuff over the years. You can still buy it today; it's very expensive, but the recipe was actually made with the help of one of the Fuji X Weekly audience members who took some Portra 400 film and his Fujifilm X camera, took pictures side by side, and then the two of us worked together to actually make it look like his images captured on his Fujifilm camera match the film as best as possible. Of course, one film can have many different looks depending on how it's shot, developed, scanned, how you're viewing it, and all that. A whole host of factors, even temperature of the water or anything like that, all sorts of things. And so it does a really good job, I think, in a lot of situations of actually giving you a Portra 400 aesthetic straight out of the camera. And it's one of my personal favorite recipes. I really like how it renders pictures, and I know a lot of you guys out there like it as well. It's very popular. And so I'm super excited that we get to shoot with this over the next month. And I can't wait to see the images that you guys capture with it.
Yeah, wow. And there's Dan, who clearly still shoots film, and he just paid $85 for a pack of 5. That is a lot. Well,
That's crazy. Yeah.
Thanks to the work that you're doing, Ritchie, that we get to shoot it for absolutely zilch. And yeah, I also can't wait to jump right in it. And the great news is we have different variations to choose from. Oh, there's Stephen. He's looking forward to it. Yay.
Yay.
Okay. All right. That explains that we didn't see any images from you. Well, it's good that you tried, but, I'm very happy that you're more excited about Kodak Portra 400. And I'm sure you're not alone. There are different versions of the recipe Ritchie created, has been on this look for quite some time. And there is a version for the X-Trans 3, the X-Trans 4, and the XT3 and 30. So there is a lot of different versions to choose from. It doesn't matter which one you choose. We are very happy to receive any version from you when you upload and share them with us. So that's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know about you, Ritchie, but I have the feeling I can hear the sigh of relief from the audience. They're like,
yeah,
goodness, this vintagey stuff is behind us. And we can move on to less greener pastures, should I say.
So So yeah, but to go back and just to clarify, just so it's understood by everybody, there's a version for the newer X-Trans for cameras X Pro 3 and newer. There's a version that's for the XT3 and XT30, and then there's the original version that I made a while ago that's for X-Trans 3, and you can use any of those, whichever one matches the camera that you have. Go ahead and shoot with that recipe and share your pictures with us, and we're happy to see them and looking forward to it.
Yes, exactly. And to get this party started, we have Björn still waiting with us, and he shot some images with the recipe already, and he wants to share them with us and, share a little bit in his experience and what he thought of the recipe. So when we're ready, there you are. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the images that you shot with it. What did you think of the recipe?
Like what you guys said already, I think it's a very versatile. Unlike the previous one, it's a very versatile film recipe, which the name Portra is obviously it's aimed at giving good skin colors and stuff like that, and taking portraits. But it's very versatile, and it can be used in all kinds of scenes. This, for example, was shot in Paris, again using the square format, no editing done. And what I really like about it as well is if the light is right, especially if you underexpose a little bit, is the quality of these blues and the red of this. It's basically a no parking sign painted on a garage door, quite creatively actually, in two different kind of ways. But it's it's the reds and blues are just kind of amazing if the light is right.
Yes.
On the next image, that one was shot in Dubai. What I like here is, unlike some of the darker contrast kind of film recipes, this has quite a broad dynamic range. So even we're looking at some quite harsh sunlight and some shadows. I didn't change anything here again. This is what was framed before. The dynamic range is actually very good, and I like this little gold feel to it. It's almost a little bit what is it called, the nostalgic negative that we find on the JFX cameras. It sometimes reminds me a little bit of that. The image is quite an interesting from a conceptual point. Is basically on the left hand side they're advertising for very cheap rooms, even bed spaces, and on the right hand side is a jewelry shop selling gold, obviously next to each other. I often refer to Dubai as the city of contrast, which makes it very interesting photography wise. Moving on to the next one, I think that's a person shot a street photo, if you want, somebody taking I don't know what it is, it looks like a dustbin or something, for a walk in Paris. Again, the colors, although the blues and what I'm trying to show here is that the reds and the blues are not always the same. This, compared to the first image, especially if you don't underexpose, then they can be quite muted. They can have a little bit of a pastel feel to it as well. And then the last image shows a little bit of a dreamy look to me, especially on the top bit of these images. It almost has a little bit of a glamour glow to it, kind of. Again, the reds are amazing. Yeah, so it's definitely a film recipe that will stay on my camera. I've given it already a fixed number, and it's not going to change for quite a while. I think I really want to go a little bit deeper. I had shot it a little bit before, but I must say that I didn't really go in. I probably didn't go deep enough or experiment enough. But it's very nice. I really enjoy it because of its versatility. How versatile it is. Can be used for plenty of different things. I didn't shoot it at night. I don't know, Ritchie, how it actually behaves at night, but that would be another project maybe to have a look at.
That is a very interesting angle.
If you like yellow.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you. This was a really cool introduction to everything. I think that makes for lots of people getting very excited about it if they haven't been already. Yeah, but it is more of a daylight kind of a recipe. So yeah, but experimenting is always a good thing. So
Experiment.
Yep.
yes,
Exactly.
I have shot it indoors recently. Yeah, so it's definitely something to be used with caution, I think. But I'm super excited, and yeah, so let's get shooting.
Mhm.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all this insight. There's a comment from Robert coming in. He says we will see lots of US pictures next show. I guess Portra 400 is an evergreen and works so well in almost all situations. Yes, we will have a super long extended version of a slideshow. I can't wait. Bring it on. We're ready for the challenge. And at the end of the day, we want you guys to be shooting. And if you have discovered a new recipe to stay in your camera, then all the better. It's brilliant. Björn, thank you so much for all your time and for all the work that you've put into the preparation and for showing us the wonderful images. Please
Thank you,
do
guys.
connect.
The pleasure has been mine.
Yes, please do connect with Björn. His website is right here on the screen, and you can find him also on Instagram and Facebook. So do go and connect. We will share the links to the socials in the comments and also in the show description. But you will find him with his name on Instagram and Facebook as well. So thank you so much, Björn. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. You have yourself.
Thank you, Nathalie. Thank you, Ritchie.
Thanks so much
Beautiful
for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you. Definitely, everybody check out Bjorn's work. Check out his website. Check out his Instagram. All that stuff.
Yes, great stuff. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening.
Good evening and good morning. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
It is some very fabulous work, I think, and also an extremely good introduction to the next recipe. I did not realize what duress we were putting our audience under with the choice of recipes.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Sometimes it's good to be challenged,
Yes, I think so. I must say I absolutely loved it so far, and I am looking forward to lots more, and very happy to be shooting maybe a few more people in the process in the next couple of weeks. So
probably get a lot more portraits.
Yes.
And I know a couple of photographers that use the Portra 400 recipe professionally for their portrait work.
Yes. I'm definitely going to give it a go, and I hope the viewers will too. So it's gonna be good. But what's not so good is the fact that we are a little bit, over time, and we don't want to lose any of the viewers to the X Summit. So let's quickly head on over to the next part of the show. Before we go there, though, please make sure that you note down the upload link, although we do share it everywhere and anywhere. But this is where you will share your many images with us, and you need to upload them by Tuesday, the 18th of October. The next show will be held on the 20th of October, so it's a little bit unusual. It's the third Thursday of the month. I've got some good family business to take care of. So we are only broadcasting again on the 20th of October. So you've got an extra week, which is fantastic because you will enjoy Kodak Portra 400 clearly so very much that you will, be shooting for
You get an extra week.
a long time, exactly. And if you have any questions, if we've missed something so far, if there are any more comments, please do bring them along. And Robert says, I hope availability of Fujifilm cameras picks up again. All right, the XE4 and the XF27 on pre-order for 2 months already. Yes, so it's been a bit of an issue worldwide, I guess. Let's hope that gets sorted out. The XE4 with the XF27, that's something to look forward to. Sorry that they're keeping you waiting for so long.
It's amazing. So I hope it comes soon for you.
Okay, and there we have, another winner. Portra 400 is saved in the XE4. So we are expecting to see lots of images from you come the next show.
Yep.
And then we have Pilot Pete, who says, have to share this with you. I've been shooting with the paid version of the Ritchie cam, and the app is amazing. The photos rival the best full-frame post-processed images. Straight SOOIP. Straight out of
I like
iPhone.
it.
Well, there you go, Ritchie.
I like it.
A bit of
I gotta start a new hashtag.
Yes. Yeah, that's very cool. Good creation. We like it.
Yep.
Well, there you go, Ritchie. Great stuff. And Simon says, till now, I have only experience with the Kodachrome 2, but I really like it. On X-Trans 2, the recipe Classic Chrome would be a perfect alternative if you prefer something more saturated. Yes, absolutely. That's very cool. And thank you for sharing. And an improvement to the Fuji X Weekly app, Ritchie. Can we have an option to filter out the recipe based on sensor and based on simulations? Recipes?
Hold on. Yeah, you can.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see that on there, if it'll focus on it or not. Maybe.
No, it's a bit blown out.
You
can't really
okay.
really make it out.
You could.
But you definitely can. But that would be in the paid version of the app.
Yes.
So it's definitely available.
It's a great tool, and there's other tools in there as well.
Yes, absolutely. So, so I'm glad we could help you along there. And we have, speaking of that, a perfect segue into the next section where we are going to give away a 12-month subscription of the app so that you can filter those recipes.
Yep. Let's do this.
Yes, absolutely. So if you have submitted an image, you stand in line to, and you enter the draw automatically, and you can win a 12-month subscription of the awesome Fuji X Weekly app. And we're going to head on over to our lucky wheel where we've, entered all the people's names who we received images from. And we're going to spin the wheel, and we will see who we can make a winner this time around. So let's head on over. There we are. There's our lucky wheel. And let's quickly go and spin it, and let's see who we can make a winner today. Keep your fingers crossed. Let's spin the wheel. Off we go. And there we are. There we are. There we are. And we say congratulations to Stuart Steele, who is our winner and is now the owner of a 12-month subscription of the Fuji X Weekly app. Please get in touch with us so that we can hook you up.
Even if you already have a subscription or anything, just contact me, email me, contact me on Instagram, Facebook, send me a note somehow, some way, and we'll figure it out. We'll make it work. So just Stuart, just take that step to contact me, and we'll figure it all out.
Yes, exactly. And thank you so much for submitting. Thank you to everyone for submitting your images and for soldiering through on this recipe. We will do it again next month. I assume we may have more names on the wheel when we revisit this next month. And a big shout out to all of you. You are an absolutely awesome audience, and we would love to meet you more close up and personal. So please do come on the show. Björn's showed us it's really not scary. You can do this too. It would be absolutely wonderful to hear your story and what makes you shoot JPEGs and your experiences. We would absolutely love to hear that. So if that sounds like anything that you'd be interested in, please send us comments, and if you want, you can comment with the hashtag SOOC live guest, so that we can pick up that conversation. Björn saying if anyone has a question for him, you're more than welcome to contact him directly. Thank you so much, Björn. That's wonderful. Yeah, we didn't really have all that much time after all, but if you have any questions, shoot them his way, shoot them our way. We are all really keen to, connect and to grow this audience further. But with that said, we're at the end of another episode, and do you want to do the honors, Ritchie, so that we can send off the people to watch the rest of the summit?
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in, for coming on the show. It was a really nice episode, I think. I think this one really was good, and I hope you got something from it, learned something, or were inspired in some way. And we just appreciate your time so much, and thank you for tuning in. And now it's time to go after this show ends and you've had a chance to see the slideshow. You don't want to miss that, right? The viewer slideshow will be right after this. And then after that, go on over and watch the X Summit. See what Fujifilm's announcing.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Ritchie. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely wonderful to be here, to connect with all of you. Thanks to all the viewers for all your continued support. You're amazing. Ritchie, thank you to you. All your time and effort is, really appreciated. We absolutely love it. I know you're very busy, and to take out this time is wonderful. So thank you for that. And, it's time to, do the slideshow thing so that we can do the X Summit thing. So it's goodbye from all of us. Have a wonderful evening, day, month shooting Kodak Portra 400 fabulous images, and we will see you again on the 20th of October. So until then, keep safe and keep shooting.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Nathalie.
Goodbye, Ritchie. All the best.
Thank you.